I'm getting ready for the MB, and there are some strange looking creatures on the beach here this morning. Wow, what a work of art. Speaking of strange looking creatures, Dan Lightfoot, what's going on? What the heck, man?
I don't know. Somebody's different.
That's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks neat.
It's so cool, man. That is really cool. You boys catching anything?
Nah,
Really?
what we?
Who's here with you?
Nah, that's just some guy met on the beach.
Where's Michael?
He partied last night, so.
Oh my God, it's just you?
Yeah, he had a party. He went to a birthday party. He didn't want to get up. Well, he got home late.
All right, well, we better set up for the MB here. It's good to see you. This thing's really cool. All right, lots to talk about. Let's get into it right now. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It is Sunday morning, and it is beautiful. As you can see, I am graced by the company of my dear friend Dan Lightfoot. Michael Limon sleeping. I guess he had some birthday parties yesterday and was up late last night, so we're missing him. But we're so happy to see all of you here with us. And I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy day. And we're going to talk some outstanding long-range fishing, our bluefin tuna zone. It is starting to sputter a little bit. We'll get into that. And there's a little bit of weather out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank that we need to talk about on this morning's morning briefing. We'll also look up and down the coast and see if there's any half and three-quarter day action. And of course, we'll focus on all the islands, including the Channel Islands, and we'll even check out the surf. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Last day of the Orange County Fair. As many of you know, I've been working the fair, and man, it has been grueling, but a lot of fun. Got to meet so many great people, including Bill McDonald, who does a lot of the Los Angeles Lakers broadcasting stuff. Bill's a real gentleman. It was nice to chat with him for a little bit. And of course, so many of you who came by, captains of boats and crews of boats, and also just Freedman Adventure family members. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend. That means the world does. Subscribe to the Freedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Really great to be with you all and a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. First thing we're going to do is go south of the border and just mention that Cedros Island has great yellowtail action. Bay of LA with great Dorado, yellowtail, grouper, really great fishing going on in the Bay of LA. As Abdul Ryan and Manny Mercado were just there recently, and they've had their share of fine fishing at San Quintin, 140 miles down below the border. Great yellowtail action, some good hits on the white sea bass occasionally, some nice halibut, and all the rockfish you could possibly want. And Louis Prieto on its for-real sport fishing, 70 miles below the border. We go to Ensenada, and he said, mucho jurel, lots of yellowtail here at Todos Santos Island. Really great fishing. You can get fish down at Santo Tomas, which is a lot further run south, not that far, hour and a half or so. And then they're at Todos Santos, which is a half hour for most of the boats that have any speed at all. And Louis said it was on. Great fishing. For yellowtail, there's been flurries of barracuda. There's been calico bass. It's really great fishing down there. Also, the Little Horse Sport Fishing. Little Horse Sport Fishing. You can Google that. You can find them on Facebook. They do a great job. I met their captain. Great guy. They're catching yellowtail and barracuda and bass. Nice fishing south of the border down there in Ensenada. And so good to see that bite nice and close to home. All right, let's cross over the border and talk about fishing from San Diego. Well, boats that are departing from San Diego all the way to the Channel Islands. They can all reach Tanner and or Cortez Bank, or both for that matter. That's where the majority of our bluefin are now. There's some big fish out there, but most of the time you end up anchored and you're catching 10 to 40, maybe 50-pound bluefin tuna with a lot of big yellowtail mixed up with it. It has been fantastic, but it's starting to sputter a little bit on us. Some guys with really big hits on the fish, and other guys struggled yesterday. In fact, I was talking to Max on the Highliner out of San Diego yesterday, and in the afternoon hours, I want to say around 3 o'clock, he said, man, it is tough for everybody today. We're thinking about throwing the towel in and going big fish looking. And so I was thinking, man, that bite really has shut off on us here. And then I get a message maybe 2 hours later from Max, and he says, hey, we're 7 fish shy of limits. They ended up catching their limits of bluefin tuna. They had yellowtail mixed in with it. So the light switch went on for them. It wasn't for everybody, however. So what was once a wide open, easy limit score for every single boat out there now is a little bit more spotty. It could be the full moon. We're moving up on a full moon right now. And sometimes during that full, the fish will get off the bank and then they'll move back onto it after. Combined with it, however, is some weather. It's windy out there this morning. And as I look at the forecast, it's going to be breezy for the next 5 days at least in that neck of the woods. We'll see how that all plays out. It is definitely bumpy for many of the boats out there, and we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. 25-pound fly line, really working well. Dave Choate has been in this game for a long time. He's a great fisherman, and he was on board the Freedom here on their most recent trip, and he said a fly line bait made all the difference in the world. And of course, Dave is going to tell you to take your time and choose a really good hot bait. But a fly line bait, 25-pound, you can go up. If the intensity of the bite goes up, you go up with your fluorocarbon, and really you can put the wood to them. Nice trip on the Freedom. Dave raved about the crew, the captains, the guys on deck, galley guy, all of it fantastic. Stephen the galley, really wonderful trip on board the Freedom. And as we look at most of the other boats, some guys got them and some guys did not. So keep that in mind. There are some yo-yo iron yellowtail out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank also. So that is something to keep in mind. Bring some iron with you. And the guys that go looking for big fish, some of them find them. There's some fish up to 200 pounds and above that when you're out there bouncing around, looking around. Most recently, Brian Wynn and the Cortez found some of those fish. There's been some private boaters who've come up with that stuff also. Kite fishing, also fly line fish, and some nighttime jig fish. But this weather is definitely going to play a part in all of this, and it is going to be breezy for the next 5 days or so. Tax problems? Contact Tim Marquez. Tim's the very best. He'll take care of all your tax problems. And if you have heating and or air conditioning needs, you want to call John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. John, a Friedman Adventures family member and a super great guy. Long range fishing can't get any better than it is right now. The Intrepid decided on a 5-day trip that they were going to make this long run down to where the 8-day boats are fishing. It wouldn't give them a big window, but if they could get down there and get on the fish, it would pay off big time, and it did. In fact, our friend JC is out there right now. Wide open, limits of yellowfin tuna on their first day. On their way home, they went into the Baja coast and came up with 150 beautiful yellowtail. The Royal Polaris also on the beach, experiencing some great calico bass fishing. They had some halibut, and they also had some white sea bass on the Royal Polaris. Great fishing. And the XL has been putting the wood to them on their 8-day trip. I think it's an 8-day, 8-day trip, something like that. They've got yellowfin tuna and wahoo and excellent Dorado fishing. Really great long-range fishing. These 7 and 8, 9-day trips this year have been phenomenal, and they are continuing. Weather's up for those guys also, however. The Intrepid's coming up into some 18 to 22 knots of breeze right now, so they are getting bounced around a little bit, but they've had nothing short of spectacular fishing. And that 5-day trip on the Intrepid where they made that long run, really spectacular fishing. Got to take my hat off to those guys. So there you have it, kind of the San Diego scene and everything around there at the Coronado Islands. Many guys are fishing the islands proper, and then other guys are off looking for meter marks and kelp patties. And it's been pretty good here recently. It's a little breezy there this morning also. Not too bad, though. Most of that wind's offshore. But we've been coming up with some decent scores on the yellows at the Coronado Islands. I want to say anywhere from 10 to 50 fish, sometimes up to near 100 yellowtail. Really great action on the yo-yo iron. Well, again, you drop that jig deep, fishing heavier line, wind on it fast. Such a fun way to catch those forkies, but most of it has been on bait. And again, we'll go back to 25-pound fluorocarbon working best of all at San Clemente Island. Guys that have fished Clemente, let's say you get out, you get your limits on Tanner and Cortez, you're going to Clemente. There's yellowtail there, pretty good at times, and there's wide open calico bass. It has been great. The El Patron took a look at some different parts of Catalina Island yesterday, and I got to tell you, they found a lot of yellowtail that just didn't want to bite. Those yellows were teasing them all day long yesterday on the El Patron. They ended up catching really copious amounts of whitefish and rockfish, did really well on that. So everybody going home with lots of great fish, taco meat. Other boats that are fishing there, the Pursuit and several other guys have been doing about the same. You know, kind of picking at a variety of species. Barracuda, bonita. They've been picking the rockfish, occasional yellowtail. The Pursuit the other day out of 22nd Street had 11 yellowtail, so they had a pretty good little pop on the forkies up there at Catalina Island. Don't forget, if you'd like to get on the El Patron, and weekdays are the time to go tomorrow. Light load, Tuesday light load, and a better price. It's a lower price during the week. Go to www.longbeachsportfishing.org and get on the El Patron. You'll have a really good time. I guarantee you that. The Sport King was there recently with our friend Jazzy Jackson, and he caught a bonita on a spoon lure, an actual spoon, as you can see there. That's fun stuff. I love that, man. You know, taking some weird type of item and turning it into a fishing lure and catching a fish. That is good stuff. By the way, the Monte Carlo had a full day charter yesterday. They went to Cat and they hooked a marlin on that trip. The half day boat out of 22nd Street on a full day charter hooked a marlin and then caught all that other variety. So some good stuff there, no question about it. We'll take you up there to the Channel Islands where they're catching a few halibut, a few yellowtail. There's also been some really good bottom fishing going on there. The Island Spirit had limits on the bottom fish, and they, again, continued to dominate the Californian. Out of Ventura Sport Fishing, much of the same. We see the Aloha Spirit catching occasional halibut and sea bass, and also occasional yellowtail. Fishing up there is always good for the rockfish, and then exceptionally good at times on the halibut and white sea bass. Breezy up there, and it's going to be breezy, as I say, for a week or so. We're looking at a little bit of weather in our forecast. We'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. You can get on the Island Spirit by going to www.venturasportfishing.com. Captain Daniel Hodawi's got plenty of room for you tomorrow. Go on a light load. You know, they'll try for the calico bass, the barracuda, and sometimes they score, sometimes they don't, but they always can fall back on the shallow water rockfish. Right now, you can't fish over 300 feet of water, so you're catching whitefish and sheephead. It's fun stuff, no question about it. 805-676-3474. Get on board the Island Spirit and have a great time. All right, taking a look at the half and three-quarter day boats. We continue to see really good fishing in San Diego, calico bass and sand bass. Many times limits on the sand bass and even calico bass with a sprinkling of sea bass and yellowtail down there in that neck of the woods. We move you up Oceanside, Dana with some decent bass fishing, a lot of shorts, but good action. And then here in the LA Orange County area, I'm talking Long Beach, San Pedro, Newport, where it is gorgeous. Just look at that. Grunion Run tomorrow night, I believe. Beautiful weather here, but we have never seen our really summertime fishing here in this area. We've had some spurts of sand bass and calico bass and barracuda, but nothing consistent and no big numbers. Sculpin, rockfish, that kind of stuff. Same thing up there on Marina Del Rey, although they have some good twilight bass fishing going on up there on sand and calico bass. And we kind of already covered the Channel Island area. Now we'll take a look at the surf, and we've got to mention big fish bait and tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach. And we also have to mention we've got a surf fishing event right here. Paulina is my co-host in Mexico. When I go to Ensenada, she's a great co-host and a wonderful person. She'll be standing here on this beach on Saturday and she wants to meet all of you. She'll have some of her merchandise available for purchase. We'll give this heck here, trying to catch some surffish. It's going to be this Saturday coming up, and we want you to be a part of it. Just send me a text, and I'll send you the direction. It's going to be from 11 until 1 on Saturday. That's August the 24th. Right here, we'll be surf fishing with Michael Limon, with Paulina, with her mother, and with a whole host of other characters. 657 227 6459 and fish with Paulina right here next Saturday. Down there, Big Fish Bait and Tackle, right on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got all the bait you'll need to have a successful surf fishing adventure. So make sure you check in with them, and they're giving away a free custom surf fishing rod every single month. You just go in there, buy your ruler, and then you measure your catch, upload your photo or video to their Instagram page, and you're in the contest, and it's every single month. Take advantage of it. A little bit of halibut in the surf here. There's a lot of kelp. You can't see it, but I see a guy down here fishing, and he's been coming up with kelp every single time, which can be really frustrating. But we do have all that bait, that grunion starting to stage. So this is a good time to catch a halibut. Also, there's been good corvina fishing up and down the Southern California coast. Those beans love to bite a bait. You can see them swimming up the surf, and you can get out in front of them and make your cast. And remember, those corvina are in that short water. Inside of that is where they are, right there. They're foraging in there, looking for, sand crabs and all kinds of other stuff like mussels and clams, and that's where you want to make your cast. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? It's a gorgeous morning. It's nice and warm. It's overcast, but it's a beautiful summer. Almost has a fall feel to it. I don't want to write summer off too quick, but it has a beautiful feel to it. Thank you so much for checking in with us. I deeply appreciate it. Only one more day to my sleep deprivation experiment, working the OC Fair and up early in the mornings to do the morning briefing with all of you, our dear Freedman Adventure family members. Take care. Have a great one. Plan on being here on Saturday to meet Paulina and do some surf fishing, or just come down, have a cup of coffee and a donut, bring your lawn chair, and enjoy the beautiful ambience of the Eastern Pacific Ocean and meet Paulina. Have a great one. Take care, and I hope to see you really, really soon.